parts of my lineage. My maternal side is Caribbean, so she's from the island of Hispaniola, by the Caribbean Sea. Dominican Republic is what they call it, but it's really the land of Tainos. And I have
that's what does.
I'm sorry.
That was the islands of Puerto Rico and Cuba as well. Taino, Boricua, and Ottawa.
Yeah. Yes. And so I have siren lineage or mermaid lineage or whatever. And my homegirl, she's Liberian. She just was telling me yesterday about Lemuria. Am I saying that right? And she was saying how like those were water people, and how basically before Atlantis, and I had never heard of them before, like her saying that. And I just feel like it's so crazy how like literally today you're like talking about it, because my first time really hearing about mer people was Atlantis, and then learning about my lineage. You know, I never knew that like before Atlantis there was anything else but what people said, like the Anunnaki and stuff like that. But for me, I don't really resonate with Anunnakis, you know, so like that's
I ain't too keen on them either, but since they part of the record, I got to talk about them whether I want to or not.
Yeah.
But before the Anunnaki came, like we used to like fucking dive under the water for 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour with no problem. You know, so we was already, you know, partially aquatic. You know, partially land. It was more amphibious than we was either land dwellers or like, cause we even right now in Africa, in South Africa, they on the coastline, they got young boys that dive underwater for extended periods of time catching fish, which is it's an echo from an earlier period.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was like doing more research because like my family doesn't really talk about the stuff like that. I had to just like piece everything together, as far as like even people having abilities, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a clairvoyant, but because like we've been colonized, like,
you telepathic too.
I'm sorry?
You're telepathic too.
Yes. And my fiance, he's from Detroit and he's a medium. And like it's so crazy how like when I was growing up, they had us so fearful of like everything, you know what I'm saying? But like I was literally seeing before people would die. You know, I was literally seeing what was gonna happen tomorrow, and like I don't know, it's just so weird how like now like it's being more appreciated, versus like, you know, being so scared. And then there's still skeptics or whatever. But I was looking into like mermaids, whatever, and they were talking about in Haiti how by the waters of Haiti, there's mermaids that are taking women or young girls and they're keeping them for a period of time and then bringing them back and teaching them magic. And they're not allowed to speak about what's happened or whatever because it's supposed to be sacred. And like people, you know, the inorganic ones, what I like to say, white people, like they are saying how like they're evil and this and that. And like for someone who knows my lineage, it actually kind of gets to me because I'm just like, evil, like, you know, I don't feel like, you know, we're evil because we're, you know, not what you guys are, basically.
So look, skin color don't make you good or evil. Eye color don't make you good or evil. Hair texture don't make you good or evil. What you have rotten in your heart, making you fuck over people and mistreat people and think you better than other folks, that's what make you evil. Right? So the whole divide and conquer mechanism wasn't just skin-based racism. It was also, my religion is bigger than yours. My God is smarter than yours, tougher than yours, bigger than yours. You know, my candidate is a better politician than yours. And don't none of that shit got nothing to do with us.
Facts.
See, we didn't do racism before the invaders came. We invited all people over here that wanted to live by the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
I can see that.
And that's why it's always been known as the great melding pot. When you start searching in ancient history and you find out America, what we call America today, was referred to as the great amalgamation, the land of the great amalgamation. What the fuck is they talking about, and why do I keep running across this shit? Because all of the clans on earth congregated on this land. This is the Holy Land.
And my father's side is Cherokee and Chickasaw, because he's from, like, I'm from Norfolk, Virginia, but they're originally from North Carolina, so it's more like Cherokee over there and like a few other tribes, but I'm mainly Cherokee or whatever. And
so the Cherokee migrated over there to fight in the Seminole Wars, just to give you a little background.
Oh, so I'm probably not even really from North Carolina. Like, my peoples are probably from wherever they migrated from then.
It's possible, but you're gonna be called whenever Big Mama gonna you just gonna know where to go. You're not gonna know why you want to go there, but you're gonna know you determined. That's what they call the matriarchal call. When you get that shit, ain't nobody gonna stop you from going where you feel you need to be on the energy grid during the shift, because everybody got to line up. Big Mama telling us all where to go.
That's crazy, because I'm about to go to Dominican Republic. I have land over there, and I'm building a house, and I don't know why. Like I'm feeling so called to get back to my Taino roots over there. Like, I've been learning the ancient alphabet. You know, like the fact that you said like the Arawak people, they're not just in those. They're actually even in Mexico. You know, so like just learning all that is just like so crazy to me. And like I've just been like, why am I getting like called over here and called there or whatever? And every time I'm like called to a different spot, because I just came back from, I'm in Atlanta right now, but I just came back from Norfolk, and I was there healing. Like, there was no reason for me to be there for real. I was at my grandmother's house, and I was learning so much about like my ancestors and why we look the way we look. Like, my grandmother's dark skin, but I look just like her, and we don't look like anybody else in our family, and it's because she has a different father. But it was just so like eye-opening to like actually like learn about what I have to learn about. And then I was just like, all right, on to the next. And then that's why I'm like planning my trip to go to Dominican Republic, because I'm just trying to pretty much get back to the roots.
So the Haiti is the big deal. Haiti got that dagger that belongs in the heart of the corporation known as the United States. It's the carryover, the residuals from the conjure of the Haitian Revolution. Now, when we talk about the Haitian Revolution, we never, ever, 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 ever talk about the other half of the island. The other half of the island was fighting too.
Yeah.
So we'll remember sporadic major events, and we'll read about them, and people will write about them. But why are they speaking French on one half of the island, Spanish on the other half? Right? And then some of the surrounding islands in close proximity, they speak in English. Right? All of us was fighting. There's no tribe that wasn't in this fight. There's not one. We was all in this shit. That's why you got motherfuckers that look like Polynesians in places where Polynesians shouldn't have been.
Facts. There's like Asian looking people in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And so they speak just like us. Like it's so crazy. And I'm like, yo, where did y'all? They like, we've been here forever. I'm just like, forever. Like,
so when we fought the Seminole Wars was like the big war battleground, because the trees, the terrain, the enemy couldn't get in there. Florida was way different topography than it is now.
More like marshy.
No, it was trees. The trees was like Florida redwoods, some of them. A lot of them was. But when the invaders would run in there, you had half of the Seminoles hit the treetops and attack them from the top, while the other half hit the marsh and attack them from the swampy ground. So they couldn't never get a stronghold. So they start cutting down the trees and setting fires until they pretty much, like right now when you go through Florida, most people don't pay it attention. But you have major tree stumps that's been there for at least 100 years, right? And they like, you could tell it was a bunch of trees there, but they don't cut them down. Like, when you know what lumberjacks do in foresting, they cut close to the ground. These trees not cut close to the ground, and they all did, right? And the reason they did, because they burnt them up, right?
It's crazy. I was born in Miami, but I claim Virginia because that's where I'm from, and like, we had a house in Miami and everything or whatever, but I was always telling my mom how I liked more so the middle of Florida and North Florida, because it had more agriculture. Like, it had more greenery there. Like, in Miami, there's a few palm trees, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no like real green. And I was just like, it's actually crazy that it's just houses everywhere and there's no green, barely any grass.
The land in Florida used to look like the bayous of Louisiana. Almost all of Florida. And then where all of the major cities of Florida, Jacksonville, Miami, Dayton, Tallahassee, those were what you call dry lands of Florida. The majority of Florida they lived in the treetops. We called them skywalkers. And it stretched. It wasn't just Florida. The rainforests of the South that was cut down stretched all the way going into Texas.
Oh shoot! So like it went through like Alabama, through Georgia, Alabama.
Through Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, all the way up into Texas. They had trees cut down. If you go back to the stories of what's this? He had Babe the Blue Ox, Paul Bunyan, the great lumberjack, right? Because Paul Bunyan was the symbol for the lumberjacks that they brought over here to chop all that shit down.
Wow.
Then they found out how to monetize the trees, and we was fucked after that.
Mm-hmm.
Once they found out how to monetize the trees, that's when they started giving it to us with no motherfucking lube.
Do you believe in energy vortexes? Because like I'm here in Georgia, right? And like it does not. I get the kind of same feeling that I get when I'm in Arizona. Like it's a lot of, there's like a lot of that everywhere, but it's a lot of weird shit going on over here. Like a lot of weird shit. And like,
well, this might help you. Mm-hmm. Atlanta is where Atlantis is supposed to reemerge from.
Ooh.
Atlanta. But before Atlantis can reemerge from Atlanta, meaning that the elders that's in Atlanta are the most instrumental, but they're not going to be seen until we see three kings walking the land. And when three kings raise the matriarch, there's some people in Atlanta that's probably about 200 years old. They got the real keys. The keys I got, that's just opening the door to Big Mama house. But the real old people that live in Atlanta, they real old. I mean, like they real old. Like they old to the point where the whites of their eyes look like it got buildup on it, and it's kind of like a grayish color. They old.
Look like they got cataracts.
Yeah, but they don't got no cataracts. They see better than you.
Yeah.
And they got a very strong mystic presence, and you can probably be feeling them from where you at.
That's interesting because I feel like it is probably the elders that are gonna have to come out when they come out. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's like people here my age. I'm 23. Their frequency is so slave mentality, so locked in. And like, I know like everybody has to go through their own journey and, you know, figure it out themselves and wake up when they wake up. But it's crazy because you can give them all the facts. You can read them everything and they'll be like, so? And it's just so crazy because it's just like, don't you want to be your best self? Don't you want to be better? Don't you want to be healthy? Don't you want to activate? Don't you want to, be the best you can be? And like, they're so different than any other like group of indigenous Aboriginal people. Because I've traveled a lot through the East Coast, and like, I don't know, the people in Atlanta, like, it's like they have like a hold on them, and it's so crazy. Because if you're saying it's going to be the new Atlantis, like, I feel like a lot of people when they start waking up for real, when they start seeing everything, they're going to be sick.
Well, a lot of people in Atlanta not gonna make it. A lot of people in Atlanta not gonna make it, and it ain't nothing that they could do about it because they not wired with the requirements it's gonna take to make it through this shift. But there is some old people, and Big Mama just told me, channeled this since I've been talking to you. There's some people that we think dead that's in a meditative trance in Atlanta. I don't know where they at, but they in Atlanta, in the general area of Atlanta. See, so in the Crystal City land, they're going to automatically wake up as if somebody poured cold water on them.
Have you heard of the Georgia Guidestones?
Yep.
So, I don't know, like, when I first read them, I was like, well, this kind of makes sense. Like, what it's saying doesn't sound crazy, doesn't sound bad. When it was like basically translating what it was. And then when I started doing some more research, it was a whole bunch of people saying that it has to do with like the end of the world, apocalypses and the Antichrist and stuff. But it had me really confused because I didn't feel like it said anything bad. Like, live with nature, live in harmony. Like, it didn't have nothing that was like crazy on there. That was just like, okay, this is like bad. You know what I'm saying? Or not even bad, like for us to be in distress. But I also know that it was a certain kind of people who were saying that. And I read that they wanted to knock them down, but they couldn't figure out how to destroy them.
Anybody that you can listen, this is the Saints. Anybody you can't figure out how to destroy them, if you can leave them to their own devices, they'll destroy themselves most of the time. Because people have a tendency, especially the way we taught, to become arrogant and egocentric to the point that they don't think that nobody can touch them. They think they're untouchable until they get touched.
Truly.
You know, truly. So the best thing, like me, I just want to wake people up. You don't have to believe everything that I say. I don't expect nobody to, because ain't nobody supposed to believe everything somebody say. You know what I mean? You're supposed to check shit out. You know, that don't sound right. Right, that don't sound right to me.
Yeah, I feel like it's supposed to resonate with you. Like, if you get the goosies, if you flood in your spirit, and that's what it is. Like, I feel like right now, a lot of people are always questioning their intuition. And because I've always been a clairvoyant, and I've literally seen, like, literally my fiance's aunt, I told him, I was like, we got to check up on her because I had like this vision, she's going to be leaving. She left in a week. She was gone out of here in a week. Not forever, because, we don't die, but like, she was gone. And like for me being so in tune with that, like I do my best to just listen to my intuition, listen to spirit, and take my download seriously versus everybody else. And I noticed too, like in the spiritual community, everybody wants to be right. Everybody wants to be right. This is the real truth or whatever. And I'm just like, maybe that's your truth. Maybe that's your truth. You know what I'm saying? But there's only one truth. And if it don't resonate with everybody, it's probably not really the truth. You know what I'm saying? If most people are resonating with it.
This is the problem with people talking about they got the truth. You know, the reason why they don't got the truth is because during their research, they took sides. You can't take sides because you wasn't here. The body you in now wasn't here. You have to read that shit like a tarot card. If you don't read it like a tarot card, as an energy signature from the past that's coming into the future to give you some information, and you take sides on that shit, whatever side you pick, you're gonna pick the wrong side because there's lies on both sides of it. But when you don't pick sides and you just try to get like my man on Just the Facts, man, Adam 12, Just the Facts. Just don't even take sides, right? It's like your two favorite cousins get into a fight. Just break that shit up. Don't get in that shit.
Facts. Like I was on here the other day when you were speaking on a few other, I guess people in this community who are trying to wake people up. And like what I heard, I didn't hear nothing from you saying nothing bad. And everybody was tagging these people, trying to like, instigate something out. And I just kept putting in the comments like, he didn't say anything bad though. But he didn't say anything bad. Like
that's because they got to take a side.
And I'm like,
this is how divide and conquer work.
Somebody just said the Atlanteans were born with ego, and that's why they fell.
They were infiltrated. That's why they fell.
Like
they didn't fall, really. Atlantis didn't fall. We was at war. And what they said sunk as Atlantis was a ship that flew away to Crystal City coming back. It just docked on Liverpool for the 3,600-year cycle until it come back around. Right? And that give us the time to figure out this conundrum we under and work our way out of the problem. But don't everybody that come to work their way out of the problem take sides and get us fucked. They always take sides and get us fucked. And that's why it took so long to break from under it. So it's even like people be trying to pit me against people. I'm not finna do that. Only way I'm gonna come at somebody is they wrong. Absolutely wrong. And Big Mama say get them. They got. They got. But when I say something, you better believe I got the receipts to back it up.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't take sides.
And I think that is a big problem. I think that is a big problem. Like, even for little things, like, for me growing up, like, you talk a lot about like, gang talk, organizations. And like, I never really understood why everyone was against each other. And I understand now what you're saying, like everybody has been infiltrated. And that's why people don't know that we're supposed to be brothers and sisters and stuff like that. But it was always so confusing to me, like, why are we taking the side when we're that's literally your cousin. He on the next block over, that's your cousin, and you have to shoot against your cousin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we should all be, especially because I lived in the hood. So, like, I would see, like, a lot of crazy things, like, literally brothers killing each other, cousins killing each other, all for offer just because they want to rep something that they don't even understand fully. You know, like they don't even understand that like gang signs are sigils. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of things, like a lot of stuff is like, a lot of stuff is ritual, positive ritual, and they're making it to negative ritual. And it's so crazy to me because I have been able to see deeper with that, like with watching you, you know, because everybody has this stigma, especially on the GDs. Like if you're on the East Coast, they have a stigma on the GDs, like whatever. And to know
that's
that,
government
like,
propaganda that teaches us that so we were talking about that. I was on a Telegram call. Was it Telegram? One of them channels over there on another app. And we was just talking about the gangs and the villainization of the culture. Because the guy was under the impression that Larry, Jeff, Tukey is the cause because they started these organizations. They're the cause of the problem. And it's like, no. If you don't understand the enemy, you're supposed to think that. That's the narrative the enemy told you to follow. So you following the enemy's narrative, but you have no clue that you're following the narrative that the enemy gave you because you don't understand what the enemy was doing to occupy the land. This is occupied territory by foreign invaders. And the foreign invaders that occupied the territory wanted to keep the people of the land divided against each other so we never figure out the problem, never come together, and never kick their ass off the land. And if we don't do that at the close of the age, we default on our own shit. We gave it to them. I'm not giving a motherfucker nothing. I'm not giving a motherfucker nothing. Big Mama said, fuck all this shit up until all of yours get all of theirs. Leave no stone unturned. I'm a GD.
Facts.
She ain't told me to kill nan stone. She said don't leave them unturned. What that mean? Uneducated. Ignorant.
Facts.
So wherever I see one unset, they don't got to believe me. They don't have to agree with me. I'm going to drop this info on them, though. Because Big Mama said, leave no stone unturned. That means leave no one ignorant behind. Right? Each one teach one. We all might reach some. Right? And if we all reach some, it won't be long before the enemy is done. Because once you purge the enemy within, you don't have to worry about the enemy without because he will show itself.
That's why I'm trying to tell people, like, and they always make it seem like it's a white and black thing. Like, I'm trying to tell people, literally, the person that's having our demise is someone who looks just like us, because that's the only way they can know us. That's the only way they can know our every move and how we thinking about certain things and how certain things affect us. Like I'm trying not to say black anymore, but Aboriginal Indigenous people are the most empathetic people. You know what I'm saying? So they know how to get to us. They know that.
Pull on your heartstrings.
You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody said it's mudras. That's what I really meant too. The gang signs are mudras. You know, like they're
that's correct.
Energy, energy.
And they doing sign language too. So it's mudras, it's sign language, and we talking only from one side or the other side to tell a message up the middle. Only if you can see it from the middle. When the GD throwing up the pitchforks and the stone throwing up the 5, if you take sides, you don't know what the fuck going on. It's drama. But if you don't take sides and you give everybody their due respect, they both telling the same story. One of them telling it from mama's eyes and one of them telling it from daddy's eyes. But it's the same story. It doesn't change. It don't change from New York to Boston, from Boston to Philly, from Philly to Akron, from Akron to Dayton, from Dayton to Memphis, from Memphis to Miami, from Miami to Houston. It doesn't change. They all telling the same story. Something's wrong on the land. They telling us this. This is what the gang's telling us. In their mudras and their hand signs, when they repping they set, they telling us something wrong on the land. We don't know what it is. We need somebody to be able to see from both sides so that they can see the problem.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
So
a non-biased person.
Right. And that's the hardest part right there. That's the hardest part. Because when I was trying to figure out how to get Larry out, I was also trying to figure out how to get Angel Bay out. I was also trying to figure out how to get Malachi York out. But everybody else is only worried about that one. As long as you're worried about just one person, you lost. Can't win that way. When you start seeing the family, look at it as a family struggle. We got internal family conflict, but now the whole family is under attack.
The whole family, and we've been under attack for a very long time. That's the thing too. Like, people think this just started with slavery. I'm like, this ain't just started with slavery. Like, we've been under attack before that.
Well,
before that.
They used to didn't come over here with that bullshit. They normally kept it in Asia and Africa. The land of Inanna, which is ISIS, which we call today Europe, Asia, and Australia in the Pacific Islands. That's all ISIS. Inky shit is Africa. In the Americas was soft shit. Didn't nobody bring bullshit over here. Because normally when you come over here with bullshit, two of us will stop fighting to beat your ass. When we get done beating your ass, we'll go back to fighting until we finish whatever our problem was getting solved. Fact. So they was always at a disadvantage.
And it's crazy how stories are told so differently. And there's just, lies. Like, because, like, for instance, like, Christopher Columbus came to the island of Hispaniola first. Specifically Dominican Republic, and he met the Taínos there, and everybody just believes that he just conquered them and they just helped him. And really the truth, like, if you are from Dominican Republic, you know the truth. Like, half of our men told them that they're going to starve themselves. We're not going to teach you how to do the crops. We're not going to teach you how to fend for yourself. Like, this is war. You know what I'm saying? What they did was just take our women. They took our women and that broke our men. And, like, I don't know, like, to hear, like, certain stories, just like how you said, like, they switch these stories up. I took African American studies in college.
The hardest thing for us to grasp is this concept of these black conquistadors that look like us, pretended to be us, brought some people with them that was their servants that they held in bondage, made contracts with them, and told everybody they made the contract with us. Right? So now they $5 Indians about to get their $5 asses exposed. Right? Because fucking with me, I'm going to take their $5 ass and make change. And the change is this. When they brought them over here, the elders that they weren't allowed to kill based on divine intervention as reasons. That's why they couldn't kill certain people. If you kill certain, like for instance, if they kill Larry or they kill Angel Bay and they don't let them die from natural causes, it immediately sets a chain of events in the motion that they can't do nothing about. They are conscious and aware of this, but they don't tell us. Right. So when you wonder why, right? So you wonder why Jeff was able to tell the police there won't be no killing without killing, while they were shooting us in the back like 90 going north in Chicago. How many of us don't stand up to the police in the public at a press conference of police and tell them it ain't gonna be no killing without killing? Y'all not just gonna come over here and kill us. It's not gonna happen. We're gonna kill your ass back. And this is why they had to neutralize them and get them off the land. COINTELPRO, mission statement.
Yep. Yep. It's even, I was talking to my mother today and I was telling her, she was mentioning the president or whatever. And I was just telling her, I was like, I actually really don't care, because it doesn't make sense for we to have a so-called person as our leader when they don't even make majority of the U.S. Most black people don't even do the census. You don't know how much of us are here. You don't know how many, and we all know it's more of us than them. You know what I'm saying? So like I was telling her, I was like, Colombia doesn't have a Puerto Rican leader. Puerto Rico don't have a Haitian leader. Haiti don't have a Dominican leader. You have a leader that represents your people because they are part of your people. So like a lot of this stuff, like I just got onto like Larry Hoover and like, who he really is and like why it's important for him to come out and stuff. But nonetheless, like I knew it was gonna have to be one of us, to like somebody who's strong, somebody who has a presence, and somebody who's been around for a minute, for people to like kind of wake up and come together. Because it doesn't matter if it's Larry Hoover or Angel Bay or Tukey, you know what I'm saying? As long as somebody's representing us and we know that they have our best intentions, and they want to see us free and want to see the liberation of us. But everybody's just so focused on who it is, you know what I'm saying? Who's setting us free. And like for me, I don't really think that matters. Like I know plenty of us are tired. Everybody's just tired of the way the system is going.
And that's where we at right now. So we know everybody tired, but how many people are tired enough to say enough is enough and disassociate from the system? Right. That's where the problem come in at. I'm gonna take another guest. All right. I really appreciate you, sweetie. It was some good input to add. You made me look good.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll be back at it again.
All right, peace.
So I'm gonna take
How do I
got you.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. What's on your mind?
So I've been noticing, like, in one of your lives I watched, you were talking about how the dancing is really important,
Yes.
and I've been noticing like people are dancing everywhere,
Yep.
everywhere. Like every time I get on hey everybody, every time I get on any app, they always crip walking or doing some type of like just some type of dance, and I'm noticing like that's increasing. Like, what does it really mean?
It's the frequency. Now, if you go back to the Salem witch hunts, one of the events that kicked off a massacre was the young maidens, the young ladies, were becoming intoxicated by seeing each other dance. They know that is a massive conjure on earth for the women to dance and to harness the energy of the earth, especially barefoot. Somebody put in the comments, which is true. And so if the women can hold the frequency long enough, it'll start activating the mitochondria in the women nearby. They won't be able to sit still. And then when there's enough women are activated, they start activating the mitochondrial in the men. And the men start, dancing and crip walking and B walking and C walking and G walking and jitting in Detroit and, different stuff. Bankhead bouncing in Atlanta. So these local dances, the local conjures, the people that develop the dance is absorbing the sequence from the earth through their DNA. And the more Crips start crip walking right now, the more lightning storms we gonna have, right? But it's gonna also serve a notice to the rest of the Crips. We waking up. California ready, Chicago ready, New York ready, New Orleans is ready, Miami is ready, Boston is ready, right? Problem is everywhere in the middle ain't ready. We got to get the middle, the ones in the middle, ready. Oh, New York ready. Pretty Chin said New York ain't. Yeah, they ready. You just don't know because they all laying in what you call sleeper mode, waiting to be activated. Soon as they see these three kings walking on the land, the whole dynamic change instantly. Right? This is when you see the police standing outside their car with nothing to fucking do. They don't got nothing to do. It's over at that point. All they can do is stand outside and watch because they can't do anything. Right? So we're trying to get the rest of the people to wake up. So the Nubians know what's up. The righteous Moors know what's up, and the dirty Moors. The dirty Moors is now in sulking mode because they fucking lost. They brought that bullshit over here and thought we wasn't gonna never fit. We was gonna think that every time we turn around and if somebody looked like us selling us out, that it was one of us. We ain't gonna never think it was them. We know it was them. We know how they infiltrate our organizations. They the only ones can do it. Pink people can't infiltrate our organizations. It wasn't nobody pink skin with straight hair infiltrated the Panthers. It wasn't nobody with pink skin and straight hair that infiltrated the Nation of Islam. Right? Same with the 5% Nation. Them niggas that killed Klans 13X was darker than me. And they didn't get caught. Because they got the police on payroll.
That put me in the mind of when I seen watched one of the movies they made about Malcolm X. It was two men, like they were hella black, but they had on suits or something. It was one of them movies, but they was black like that.
He said it. Malcolm said it in the speech that he gave when his house got bombed, and he named names of infiltrators so Elijah Muhammad to know who they is. This is what people don't know. See, we got a way of talking to each other where the ones us that know what's being said, but the rest of the people is just going to suspect they know. You keep suspecting you know, and you remember the part you think you know, but when the truth come out, we'll fix that part for you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So he's in there, and he's saying that when he get the names, he say, this is nothing the police don't know. The police know this. Malcolm know the code of the street, so he ain't telling on nobody. He even say, I'm not telling on nobody. This is wrong. This is what the police the one told me who it was that was stalking me.
That's wild.
Right? Then he turned around and he say, the Nation of Islam has been infiltrated at every level by the FBI and the police. It was somebody looked like us gave the layout of the house that Fred Hampton was sleeping in.
Wow.
Watch Judas and the Black Messiah. That's a good loose depiction. But read the FBI files on it. That's a whole nother avenue of looking at it. You know, so it was somebody looked like us shot Tupac.
I could believe it.
You know, they look just like us.
I believe it because, like, think about when you say that, like, think about the narrative that they play. All these people from the streets and, you know what I'm saying, being on all this and that, so they can throw it off as gang violence. That's the cover.
The only thing is people think that these is our people. They not our people. They not us. They just look like us. They look like us enough to infiltrate us without us knowing if we don't know how they vibe.
So let me ask you this. So with that being said, it's like the ones that kill are not us. So like, is that in our nature then?
They not us.
Is that a nature? That's what I'm saying. Is that a nature thing? Like, is that a way of telling, like, if you can kill a person, then you're not?
Because I murdered one of the motherfuckers in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But it's because I have to defend my land and my people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we do it to defend. They just do it just to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Basically what I'm saying.
It's still strategic. It's still strategic. It's based on your bloodline, and it's based on your ability to be able to get people to listen to you speak, sing, or whatever. This is the reason why everybody go to Hollywood have to go through these shaming ceremonies so that they can have something over their head to disgrace them in front of the people.
Makes sense.
Because as long as you think R. Kelly a pedophile, as long as you believe R. Kelly a pedophile, then his influence has been minimized. His voice has been murdered. When you understand what hang him in effigy mean, right? There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to bust a gat, and there's more than one way to kill somebody.
I've heard all of it before.
So you kill their legacy while they still alive. That's the worst murder.
It is.
Right? But some of them, you can't kill their legacy because they see your bullshit. So they murdered them. Like they did Malcolm. Like they did Martin. You know? They pay dirty hands to do their dirty work so they can come by us and say, I told you it was Whitey. I told you. Uncle Ruckus knows when he say he knows. Don't trust the reverse vitiligo. You know what I'm saying? We see it now.
Oh my goodness. They be sounding like straight clowns. Like, you don't make no type of sense.
Yeah, so what they normally do, Clarence 13 Next could have took this nation back from them, but they murdered him. Right? Malcolm X could have took the nation back from them, but they murdered him. They poisoned Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Right? They murdered John Africa. They murdered Joseph Sinkhu. They murdered Fred Hampton and Mark Clark. They murdered them. But they want us to believe we the killers. They wrote on paper they was gonna neutralize him. They poisoned Bob Marley, talking about he caught cancer from kicking the soccer ball. As if we supposed to believe this shit. Dr. Sabi ain't dead. He on his ranch laughing at their ass because they think they killed him. He was extracted. He right down there, probably having dinner with Left Eye and motherfucking Aaliyah, talking about what we gonna do when this shit over with. Cause that's who at his ranch with him. You know. So if they coming at us, they swore war on us till they take us for everything we got. They never relented in the war.
Yeah, how much more you think we got? Y'all done came and stole every damn thing.
The last hurrah was, if none of us rise up with the capabilities to reclaim the land, identify the true leaders of the land, expose the true leaders of the land to the people, and show them who the imposters on the land is, what they done, and how they done it. That exposes the dirty Moors for what they is. Now, I can't say all Moors, because we was actively infiltrating their shit while they was actively infiltrating our shit. Right? So all Moors not dirty Moors. But for a dirty Moor, I can cut him from asshole to appetite and never lose him.
Greeting God.
Greeting God. Peace to you. Scorpio gang in the house. I see y'all.
Hey, I'm actually Pisces, Libra ascendant, but hey, my son is a Scorpio though.
Hey, it's all the Scorpios in the comments doing their Scorpio thing, you know.
Hey, for real. And I'm working, so my bad if the signal go out a little bit. I work for Amazon. Now I'm working for the Bezos.
Yeah.
But I used to be an admin for ISIS's group, you know, and this was before I had saw your live where you were explaining, you know, all the scamming stuff she was doing, and I wasn't really using my discernment because a lot of her followers in her group are really low vibrational people who really don't be using their discernment to really figure out stuff on their own. And you see, I know I'm from the land. You know what I'm saying? My dad, he's from Chicago, and our ancestors come from Mississippi. And when I know my lineage, I know where I come from. When people disrespect that lineage in my line, I can't rock with that. You know what I'm saying? And for her to really come in and try to deceive, and knowing the fact that she constantly tries to preach that go inside yourself, but while still trying to sell a dream, that shit right there is deceitful. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you don't ever really be trying to sell nobody nothing. You don't even be pushing your 3 King shit that much either. You know what I'm saying? So when you come with your information and when you come with what you're talking about, you come authentic. You come real. You know what I'm saying? All the game you get for free from the heart. She don't be giving game like that, bro. And all the stuff that she really do be doing, she be grabbing shit from the community and trying to regurgitate it like she's the high priest, the high oracle, the one that's really talking shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was, like I said, I was in her admin group, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I could tell the energy in there was a lot of not thinking for themselves as females. And a lot of females gravitate to that big mama because they need they need somebody to kind of hold them, to coddle them. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what we need as people. I don't care if you of my people or you not. You don't need to be coddled. You need to be able to go inside yourself and grab your power and take back what is yours. You know what I'm saying? As far as your bloodline goes. And you know, I've already been hip on the conjuring, the trying to do a certain spell to get this, selling some snake oil for that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm already peeping the game. And see, I didn't really get on her shit before before last year. I just started seeing her shit from somebody else had posted. I think it was like the aliens are black. Somebody posted her shit. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, she's saying some shit about the industry, but she was in the industry. So even right there, I was like, well, how much is she really saying that's actually truth, actually factual? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, bringing it back, you know, to a lot of what you was talking about, you know what I'm saying, talking about the real dragon underneath the Vatican, you know what I'm saying, how, though, the real enemy and all those different things, you know, I try to, like, you know, I be explaining it to my wife, you know, and she's also up on the shit too. And so when we hear what you talk about the truth, it's like we can't do nothing but just spread it. You know what I'm saying? We can't do nothing but try to tell our people, even the people that ain't us, you know, the truth. And so, you know, there's a lot of that goes on, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I had to really step away from all that. And I appreciate, you know, you being 100. I appreciate you, what you're doing. I did have a question though about, you know, how do we really know our actual indigenous tribe? How do we find that information, but without going through like some DNA ancestry? Is it just through the genealogy records, or
you get signs? Like you just told me you was a Mississippian out the gate.
Yeah.
The Mississippian is one of the oldest tribes, and they connected to every tribe. This is why we can become honorary members of all of the tribes. When this type of work need to be done, all of the tribes put us through the ringer. I haven't been, even though I've been in the criminal underworld, so to speak, for this society. And of all of the despised and rejected, I become the most loved and respected by being a bump straight.
Same.
Right. So when all of the tribes say, okay, what's going on the land, I have to tell them.
Yeah.
Right. And I can't hold back. I can't, like the way we wired, man, we can't go along to get along.
And that's what fucks me up, because I speak my mind so much they try to filter me. Ever since I was born little, you know, I was raised around a lot of white folks, right? So I always knew how to speak. So when they would speak to them, I would still have my tongue from who I am. So I wouldn't bite my tongue, so it would hurt them. It would make them uncomfortable. But the only reason why I was making them uncomfortable is because they weren't aware of the place that I was already sitting in. You see what I'm saying? They didn't understand the power that I was already in. So a lot of times you'll have like the pastors or the whatever of the white community try to come and say, oh, just try to fit in. You know what I'm saying? Chill off on saying nigga too much. Chill off on saying black too much. Chill off on bumping your music too loud and doing whatever, you know, just having your mannerisms as a brother. You know what I'm saying?
Look,
they try to tell you to chill off on that.
In our community, you know, we see the graffiti. We don't know that's tribal communication.
Exactly.
It's tribal communication in their motherfucking face. That's why they made it illegal. They know what it is, and they know we talking on the land, but they don't know what the fuck we saying because they can't read our language. But we can read theirs.
Exactly. So, and go ahead. Sorry, brother. Sorry.
So when I go through the community, I can walk through the community and know the entire condition by the graffiti, by the positioning of the neighborhood, the elder women, where they at, how the neighbors respond to them. I can read the community like I'm reading a book. So this is why I get to the point where I can easily see who don't belong, and I can see who do, right? And certain ones, I remember them from past lives. Like one brother came on one of my, I was in a call, a group chat, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, man, I know this motherfucker from somewhere, right? And I'm like, hey man, move over to the camera a little closer, man. I looked at him. I started giving him the rundown of who he was. Everything his pops had told him. He was like, man, my pops told me that. 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 Like, I'm like, I know who the fuck you is. You know what I mean? That's like I look at Dane, I know who the fuck he is. My cousin, who looked like Dane, is the one who flipped me. If you want to be rich, listen to Calloway. Off of a song called I Want to Be Rich by a group called Calloway.
Calloway, I'm gonna write that down.
Now look, when I go back, I'm thinking about what my cousin was saying, and I see this dude, Dane Calloway, and my cousin had a Great Dane named Man. So now Man, his favorite Great Dane is a Calloway in my mind, making the connections. And so when he brought the song in, the group Calloway, and played it, I Want to Be Rich, and he said, I want you to keep listening to this song over and over. And I've been listening to Dane Calloway about 2 years. You know what I mean? So When I told motherfuckers he was one of the chiefs on the land, the motherfucker kept telling me Dane said he ain't black. He ain't no more. Cause he ain't, motherfucker. He from the land.
Exactly. Exactly.
He ain't black because he's not a crayon.
Mm-mm.
And he
ain't no more because he ain't from Morocco. Yeah.
Look, now they ain't putting up pictures. He not reading the pictures like I'm reading the picture. I'm reading the picture like a tarot card.
Yes.
Now, he don't know what he doing, but he's flipping messages with the pictures he select to give his presentation. In his presentation, he's talking about documents, but I'm reading the pictures that's telling a whole nother story from what the fuck they ain't talking about. You know? So the whole other story told me, hold up, bruh. They was hiding behind them. These the cat's paws. These motherfuckers is the enemies. And if you could take your mind down into the hull of the slave ship, you'll see this shit some bullshit. When I did, okay, so you got this, it's called Soul Retrieval. It's a book called Soul Retrieval. And you could put in your reference list. In doing the soul retrieval, I'm traveling my DNA by calling forth certain energies. I couldn't find a slave ship nowhere. Not even in the people that is tied in my bloodline from that side of the water. Didn't come from slave ships. The ones that we related to, the Zulu and the Hopi, is the same tribe. But when I'm traveling my DNA, the ones I'm seeing coming over here that I'm being shown in mental imagery, they are not coming in bondage, and they're not coming in hostility. Right? And when they getting on this side of the water, we hugging them and kissing them like they long lost relatives. I'm not seeing no slave ships. No slave ships. I can't pull no slave ships up in my DNA. Right? So I don't understand this shit. And then when I go back and I find that in the history books that even they wrote when they asking our ancestors about the ships, they said we didn't see no ships.
Exactly.
So they wrote it. Look, they wrote that their cognitive dissonance was so severe that when the ships came, they couldn't even see them. Bullshit. They knew what a ship was because Khan Mansa Musa came on a boat.
Exactly. From part of Africa, he came through South America and came through up through where the Mayans used to be and all that area. They actually used to take boats to the Americas way before anybody knew about the conquistadors came over. It was us coming over.
Right.
Yeah,
but keep and so we already knew what boats look like. And they saying we had no knowledge of ships and boats. Now watch this. On the Pacific, it was an emperor from China that we call Quan Jai Jun. Came over 5,000 years ago on a boat, a big ass boat. They sailed right on over here. And when we met them, we hugged them and kissed them like long lost relatives. Why we not doing that to the Spanish conquistadors, the blackamoors that's coming over here? We ain't hugging them motherfuckers. We fighting like a motherfucker. They looking for Cordoba, the famed city of gold. The great, that's the great capital of Atlantis that flew the fuck away that they told us sunk. Right? And I'm seeing this shit in the DNA. This shit like, whoa, what the fuck is this? You know, so now I got to put it together for y'all.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff. And I know when, like, my mom, she told me a lot of where her people came from through Texas and through, I guess, she says Blackfoot Indian, but it could also be Blackfeet. So I got to really, figure out which one it is specifically. But on my mom's side, we definitely have the Mexican side that came through the Mayans. And so we connected to the Quetzalcoatl. So that whole with the actual dragon. So when there was the two, where the eagle and the dragon, were down there, that's when we tried to come up north and separate from the ones that stayed down in the south, which went down into like, you know, central, like Belize.
Well, you see the
Go ahead, sorry.
petroglyph of the eagle fighting the serpent.
Yes.
If you also keep watching the petroglyph, you'll see that the plume serpent is the one they call Quetzalcoatl. He was neither eagle nor serpent. Right? And then they call him the great dragon that consumed them both. He consumed both the. It's an old story and it's written in the petroglyph, and they hard to read for the ones who not tuned in. But Quetzalcoatl is Thoth.
Yes.
And they tried to replace him with Cortez, the conquistador, conqueror. Like, that's who they tried to give the people the impression was Quetzalcoatl.
Exactly.
Right.
And Paul has taken on different forms. He's been around they say he's been around for like 8,000, but I think he's been around for longer than that because he takes different forms each cycle. And so as we move through the different ages, he has to adjust his etherical form to match the vibrational consciousness of the collective of his people, of the people that he's trying to move through. So, you know, I can't really get behind a lot of these narcissists, you know, a lot of these new age people who be saying, oh, well, I'm the God, all this do me, blah, 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 blah. Like I may call myself a God sometimes too, but really you have to understand where the divine Akashic records information comes from and where your information comes from to source. And so a lot of people, they get them confused sometimes because they feel like the Akashic records is what we all kind of like hit on, but if you go beyond that and then you hit the source records, then it's like you get it's kind of different. It's hard for me to explain on you know, so let me on the live, but
the source records is got all of eternity in it. The Akashic records is the collection of human experiences.
There you go.
And they all are cataloged in the subconscious mind, which is called collective unconscious.
There you go. There you go.
And
yes.
Akasha is the feminine energy that accesses that part of the mind. So that's why they call it Akasha records. And Akasha is a female. Right? Now, when it's time for karma draws the information from Akasha in order to balance out everything according to what is recorded. That's why everything is recorded. And the book of life is what you call universal consciousness of the great mother Tawaret. Right? And that's why she's sitting in the middle of the zodiac with a meat cleaver, because she'll bust your ass in the head with it if you don't get right.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, man. I thank you and I appreciate you. I just want you to know that I thank and appreciate you, OG. For real.
I appreciate you coming in. Give me a holler. Give people some insight.
I will.
You know.
And let me know. I do software engineering. So I do like the Discord bots. I do all that shit. I'm not no crypto scammer, but I definitely do the crypto too. I know how to make this stuff from nothing. So I'm an engineer. I have my degree and all this shit. So I know, but I have my experience in the streets with working with corporations. So I know how they think. I know how the businesses think. So, you know, if you need anything from me on that tip, you know what I'm saying? Just let me know. Tap in with me, you know, and I'll got you with all my knowledge. I'll share it, you know, free game, all the above.
No, I'll go get it in a minute though. Yeah, yep. So I'll be in touch with you. Be in touch with me. You know, I got a lot of people be messaging me, so you got to periodically, so I know you know, be able to keep track.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, I got one more. I got one more. I gotta pull up.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, so the book that I mentioned was Soul Retrieval. Somebody had asked a question. What's going on, brother?
I'm chilling, family. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good, good, good. I'm actually just watching one of your videos right now from Facebook. I had to go back and start from the scratch. You know what I'm saying, bro?
You gonna see the whole process of me going through trying to figure out what the fuck I'm dealing with. I'm having crying and all kind of shit in there.
Hey, to be honest with you, that's the most beautiful part thus far. You know what I'm saying? Is I'm really able to see the transition, you know, not even a transition, the process itself. And that's a beautiful thing, bro. Like, I appreciate your vulnerability, you know what I'm saying? Even the one where you really talking to your auto worker family, you know what I'm saying, about when you was leaving and whatnot. Like, you know, at this point, my whole thing has just been like like I already internally knew, but like you emphasized on, right, which is just like you gonna know who is who and who is not, you know what I'm saying, if you kind of tap into that yourself. And I actually came on, you mentioned it right before. I was just wondering who the book Soul Retrieval was written by, which one you're talking about, because I'm on the website right now. I'm online trying to find a PDF or something like that if I can. It's not a bonnet. It's not a bonnet, Queen. I'm just in my blanket.
Yeah, boy, they don't be playing, boy. That's why I can't be soft, because they subject to, you know, hit me with some stuff from time to time.
Nah, most definitely. She said blanket, stop it. Hey, listen here. I got the whole thing over here. Y'all trying to play with me on the live. Yeah.
What's them colors? Red and white, and what else?
Red, white, and this is actually this is an Arkansas. And now that excuse my language, I started really thinking about everything. I'm like, I got my daddy from Arkansas, my mama from Mississippi, so I'm just going through it. I'm not in no rush. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you know the Arkansas Razorbacks is actually a tribe.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they was a warrior tribe from out of the woods of Arkansas. You didn't want to go back there messing with them, and they went back there beating the beehive with a stick.
That part. I'm gonna have to do some more research and tap in. Everybody's saying Shango. I don't know what that means, to be honest with y'all.
Shango, one of the lowers that come in the red and the white.
Okay.
With that sword, you pull that sword out,